Attention. Due to the nature of the films discussed, the Civil Gore podcast may contain adult language and themes.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 32 of the Civil Gore podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And I'm your host, Brian.
And boy, do we have a weird show for you today.
Yes, and it's so weird that we don't know exactly what weird level it'll be yet.
So, as you know from the title of the episode, we're doing the movie RAW. And as a little bit of a tie-in gimmick to that, we are going to record the show live and uncut. So it will be as raw as possible. Very limited to no editing.
Yeah, and when we mean raw, we actually mean the film raw. Not like, Vince McMahon, like, you're fired raw. Like, none of that,
Yeah, this is the infamously gory, disturbing cannibal film that came out, I believe, was it last year?
Yeah.
So it's now streaming on Netflix, which is the way I caught it.
Yeah, same here. Because Tim gave me the heads up, and actually my friend Paul, which I'll mention a little bit when we talk about in our first chop, he was actually gave me a heads up also. So I got simultaneously heads up here from both different coasts, basically, telling me about this.
All alert! Raw's on Netflix.
I got the
calling all cars.
Where's Kevin? We need him to do that calling all cars line, but we can't because now it's edited free. It's other than a couple
edited
of
free.
standards.
Yeah, we're stuck.
So yeah. Oh well.
So you get a rare peek behind the curtain of how the sausage is made.
Yeah. Well, interesting choice of words. But
okay. Well, let's get right into it. Speaking of sausage, here's our first chop.
And by the way, that will be edited in.
we did do the sound effect live.
Yeah,
we did cheat there.
Yeah, and I hope you guys liked last week. We put in for the first time Paul, my friend Paul's new sound effect for our dismemberment, which I thought was great.
Which is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, he does an amazing job. And actually, that's a perfect segue because I got to see my friend Paul when I was out in the Bay Area recently for my sister-in-law's wedding. And I'll also give a quick shout-out to my sister-in-law Lori and her husband Howie. They had an awesome wedding, very Star Wars heavy themed, so I was ecstatic. There was lightsabers, and maybe I'll. I mean, I gotta get their permission, I guess. Maybe I can post like one of the two of the cool pics from there. They had a lot of neat things, including some like custom-made lightsabers that were being bandied about for pictures. It was really cool. But so anyway, when I was out there, we got. I was lucky enough, as I mentioned, that the VICTOR CROWLEY showing was actually taking place in San Francisco. So I met up with my good friend Paul, who's from back in my film school days. We were totally big on horror movies, so this was like the perfect opportunity. It was great. It was like old times. Like we're literally like searching this store called Amoeba Records that had. I was telling Tim, I was showing him some pictures as we were there. It's like a mecca for rare and used and just a bit for DVDs, Blu-rays. They even had a Laserdisc section. They had some videotapes. So I picked up a couple stuff, a couple things, and I'll put that on Instagram once I get a chance. Like I literally just got home at 2 a.m. last night, by the way, and we're recording this the next day. So if I do kind of nod off at some point during this podcast, Tim's not going to edit it out. But so anyway, back to the main point. So we did get to see VICTOR CROWLEY, and if you love the other three, you will absolutely love this one. It's more of the same greatness that you expect from Adam Green. A lot of great gore, a lot of, that tongue-in-cheek 80s classic style horror stuff. The performances were just as like campy as ever. And it was phenomenal. As soon as it comes out, it's probably, like I said, it's touring around. It's one night only. It's special places. So the odds are maybe difficult to see in the theater, but I'm sure it will be released on VOD and home release pretty shortly. But yeah, definitely see that, especially if you like the other three. You will not be disappointed at all. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. Speaking of home viewing, gosh, I'm really stretching for segues here.
Yeah, that was a good one, though. I liked it.
I try. The podcast lore is one that started maybe about a year ago, and Lore is just a simple podcast by a horror author named Aaron Minke, and it just basically does kind of folklore type tales, typically supernatural in nature. So, you might have one on the Jersey Devil or one on, some ghost story, or typically they're pretty historic.
Really good, though.
Cases.
Really
really good podcast. But what's interesting is that they have turned Lore into a TV show, and it's going to premiere on Amazon Prime this coming Friday the 13th. And it looks pretty cool. I think it's starting with 6 episodes or 8 episodes. Can't quite remember which one it was, but and it's going to cover different things. I think one of the big ones it's going to cover for this initial run is the Robert doll.
Yeah, and I think you could see that. Was that the one they showed in the trailer? Because there's a little snippet which looked really cool. So
yeah, the famous haunted Robert doll. I think it's down in Florida somewhere. But I'm really looking forward to that one because I really enjoy the podcast and the show. I like any kind of show about that supernatural type stuff.
Oh, yeah, and the fact that I love it, that it's going to be on Amazon Prime, you can kind of like get them all. Because those are the kind of ones that you watch one, you can't wait for the next one. So it's kind of good. You get a big chunk at once.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. There's another one, while I'm thinking, this wasn't even on the rundown, but there's another show starting on Netflix called Mindhunter.
Oh, I saw that.
I think it's also starting Friday the 13th, and that one's about serial killer people.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like investigators. So I'm definitely going to check that one out too. So lots of good stuff dropping this Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Oh, and I did watch the first episode of I know, again, not on the rundown, but see, this is what you get with an unedited show. That show, the one on Sci-Fi, the Channel Zero. I guess No End House. I saw the first episode of that. And you're right. It starts off really slow, but that thing is really good. I only got to watch the first episode, but I definitely want to see the rest of them because that looked good.
Yeah, you're going to absolutely love season 1 when you get around to watching that one because it's super scary.
Yeah, I'll watch this one first, and then I'll probably go back because now that I'm invested in this one, which is really really cool. That's because it's haunt themed.
Yeah. I also saw this one come up. Now I'm going to be conscious of every time I go,
I know.
because I usually edit all that out. But
you're going to get a lot of that.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of that, so you have to suck it up. 7852 is a new documentary which is focusing on the shower scene from Psycho. And 78 refers to, let me see if I get this straight. 78, I believe, was the number of setups or something for the shot, and then 52 was like the actual number of shots in just the shower scene.
That's a great title for that.
Yeah, so that's just a documentary just on the shower scene. Brian, do you remember Universal way back in the older days, Universal Studios? They had the Hitchcock attraction. Do you remember that? Or did you ever go down there during that?
Was that at the Hollywood one? Or was it both?
No, it was at, well, I don't know if it was at Hollywood, but I know it was at Orlando because obviously I was.
Yeah, I don't think it was there when I finally made it to Orlando. I don't think that was there. The only thing I remember was from the Hollywood one. They had the Psycho house where you would go by, and now they added. Back when I used to go there, they just literally you went around it and they pointed it out. Now there's like a Norman Bates actor that kind of walks towards your tram.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was kind of neat.
No, the Orlando location had and I don't remember the name of it, had an Alfred Hitchcock attraction, and it was basically like a little walkthrough, and it had like mannequins of Alfred Hitchcock and little set pieces from his movies and stuff. But one of the cool parts of it was there was a section where you go into a theater and you watched a short little show about the making of the shower scene, and they would actually reenact the entire shower scene in front of you with not a nude woman, obviously, but she had a bodysuit. But
and they didn't pick that one from the audience, I hope, right? Because I know they tend to do that at the Universal shows.
No, so this one, but they would show how the shower scene was created. But what was kind of neat is they would do like a magician trick, kind of switcheroo, where you would think that you're watching like a Norman Bates person walk up and stab the lady, and then at the end she'd pull her mask off and it was the lady from inside the shower was actually the one doing the stabbing. Like they do some kind of switch place illusion.
Yeah, they're good at that Universal for that. Yeah,
so that was kind of cool. But this documentary, when I saw it, I was like, oh, I've already seen a lot about the making of the shower scene just from that Universal attraction. But I'm very much looking forward to that one. I've also got a I've got a Making of Psycho Janet Leigh book that I read not too long ago that had a lot of detail about that. So definitely check that one out.
Oh, nice. And then the next thing on our rundown, I know you're either getting tired of this or you like it like the game enough that you don't care about these constant updates. But they finally announced that that new map and new Jason, the Jarvis house map and area, and the new Jason from Part 4, the final chapter, is going to be released this coming Friday. Well, actually, when this episode drops, you can get it that night probably. Friday the 13th in the Friday the 13th game, of course. And this map, I don't know if you've seen it. This is the one with the cool rain effects that they've added to the game.
Yeah, they added thunderstorms and stuff.
Which I got to tell you, it looks amazing. If it plays like that, if you're running through, because that game does get you that, you can actually get legit, scared and nervous in that game because they pump the music up and they make it. So I can imagine every so often now hearing like a, thunder coming down will probably add to the suspense a bit. And I think that's the day that we're also revealing. Now I could be wrong about this. I know it's for sure that weekend is going to be double points weekend. So if you need to, because that Jason you can get, it's free, but it unlocks it at level 41. So you don't get him per se. You get the rights to him, but you can't get him yet until you get 41. So that's a good weekend to do that because it's taken a while. I mean, I didn't get to the first double points weekend, and I remember it took me. I still didn't get up to level 31 yet with the other Jason. I played the hell out of that game for a while, so I need to get back to that maybe on the Sunday.
That's the weekend we're out of town.
It is, but I know I get back. I'm going back. I'm gonna be back Saturday night when it's all said and done. So. I may jump on that. I think it's through Monday morning, so you can play late Sunday night if you have to. Probably stock up some stuff. But I want to say that might also be the weekend they release the new Counselor, which is totally based on that stoner dude from Part 3. That hippie guy.
Yeah.
And also I think the emotes pack, where that whole thing where you can make them make faces and signal each other. It's like a new one, it's a more, because I think it comes with some basic ones. I think there's a new one being released that weekend. And of course, obviously, for those who don't have the game yet, and you were waiting for the disc version, that also is released that day, and that comes out with some exclusive Jason skins. I think bloody Jasons and stuff, which I'm sure will eventually be released for the people that had the downloaded version, but probably a little slightly different, but we'll see. So yeah, so big news for Friday the 13th game on a perfect weekend for it, which is Friday the 13th. Yeah.
I was going to slip one in here that wasn't in the rundown, but we got our Chucky box sets in the mail.
Yeah, mine I had to get it was delivered while I was gone. I had to actually have my dad run over to our house because I could stop the mail, but I could not stop UPS. And apparently Chucky was determined to come no matter what. So
it's just weird, though, seeing it in my shelf because all the titles are black or red. And then you have this yellow, friendly Chucky box sitting there. But I'm torn now because I really want to see Cult of Chucky, but I kind of want to watch the whole series again first, like in order. I kind of don't want to watch it before watching 1 through...
Right.
And
just remember, we're most likely he's going to be a topic of our summer slaycation next year. I can almost guarantee he'll be one of them, one of the 4.
Yeah, so then I'm wondering. Well, by that time though,
yeah, you'll want to see it again anyway.
You'll want to see him again anyway. So I may do that. I may just kind of run through them all. And I was comparing the first disc of this one with the Scream Factory Collector's Edition, and it looks like most of the extras are about the same. There may be 1 or 2 here or there that I'm going to have to double dip watching those. But I think for the most part, if you get the box set, you're getting most of the extras that are on the Scream Factory edition.
Ah, okay, cool.
There may be... Yeah, I can't remember right off the top of my head. I did a line-by-line comparison. I think there may be 1 or 2 I might have to go back to the Scream Factory to look at. But and next up, we had some breaking news.
Yeah. As breaking as you can get for Civil Gore, right?
Like literally 2 minutes before we aired. But John Carpenter has confirmed that the new Halloween coming next year ignores everything past the original.
Yeah, so I don't know how I feel about that because, I mean, I loved 2. As you know, we've been on here before. We've loved part 1 and 2, and we always said, I mean, when of course we like 4 and 5, but we thought always you could just take up that series. When we first announced it seemed like they were going to take it off right after 2, which was fine. But so now this is interesting, and the things I read, we had mentioned it on an earlier show that supposedly they wanted to take out the link between Michael and Laurie. So as they're not related anymore. So I don't know if they wanted to reveal it in a new way in this, or they just wanted to go completely different direction regardless, and they wanted to make Michael even less connected in some level. Remember, we've said it a million times, the less you know about the villain, the scarier he becomes. So now, maybe you don't, you figure he's just out for pure revenge. There's no, I gotta kill all my family thing. I know, you messed me up back, you ruined my plans 40 years ago, now I'm coming to get you, kind of thing. So
yeah, I'm gonna place my trust in John Carpenter for this one. I'm just assume that he knows what he's doing.
I don't think he would allow this with this build up now, and with Jamie Lee Curtis coming back and the chance to right some wrongs. I would be stunned if this did not hit the way he wanted to. I think this will be fantastic. I think, it'll be next year's It. I think it will get a ton of, maybe not as much, in the box office, but it will surely be a major hit, this movie. It will bring droves of horror fans into theater. And even like Tim had said, people coming up to him at work that aren't even horror fans, like, hey, did you hear Jamie Lee Curtis? Because everyone knows Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween. Yeah. So the fact that it just has that built-in hype train that people get on without knowing anything about it, just because it looks cool.
Well, here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping this is the movie that relaunches slasher films.
Right.
Because that's a subgenre we just haven't seen in a long time. With some exceptions like the Hatchet series and that kind of thing. But I'm talking about theatrical, like back to old school slasher stuff. I'm really curious to see if this one will jumpstart.
Right, and we forgot to mention, even though we shared it on the Facebook page, we didn't mention it on the show, is that Judy Greer is in runnings, I guess, in talks to be Laurie Strode's daughter, which I'll watch anything she's in, so I'm super excited about that. I don't think we mentioned that yet, right? I know we mentioned it. I
don't think so, no.
We may have talked about it, but I can't remember if we actually mentioned it on the show. But see, here we go. If I did, you're going to get the unedited mistake that I made.
Well, like I told Brian the other day, Civil Gore puts the error in terror.
And by the way, those shirts will be available somewhere down the road.
Well, anyway, so update on the Civil Gore Horror Movie Challenge that I was surprised. I had expected realistically that I was not going to be able to pull this off. And I'm to the point now where I think I might actually do this challenge.
Yeah.
I am currently like 11 or 12 films in, and it's only we're recording this on the 9th of October, so I'm already 3 films ahead. So if I can keep up the pace, even with the trips, I think I can pull this off.
Yeah, and I had said, I thought I'm actually only 1 day behind technically. I misread it. I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've done 8, and it's the 9th. So technically, I'm only a day behind. So if I watch something tonight, late tonight, after I'm buy 5 million tickets for The Last Jedi once they go on sale, I will be caught up to the day and date, obviously, to the movie. And so yeah, because I forgot one. Actually, we discussed. It was funny. Victor Crowley technically counts as one of our challenges because it is a sequel that decided not to put a number in front of it. So. And that counts.
There you go.
So remember, you could see something in the theater. You're so used to now watching things on Netflix and Prime and DVD and Blu-ray, whatever method you have, that you forget that you could actually go to the theater and see a nice horror movie.
Yeah, and don't forget YouTube as a source, because sometimes you'll find some of those movies you can't get on DVD or Blu-ray that they'll just post on YouTube. Obviously they'll take them down if they're illegal, but sometimes you can find the ones that are. That's how I found the one I watched last night, which was Crowhaven Farm.
Oh my god!
A TV movie from 1970, which is about as good as you might expect.
Yeah, I don't know how you even. I don't think that was meant to be found, but good job. I think one of our our listener Cody too, who's killing it by the way in this, because she's tweeting out stuff and really joining in on the fun. So hopefully the listeners are as well. I think she found one of her shorts that she watched, and part of that 3 short challenge. I think she found a short on YouTube, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, actually, I found all of mine on YouTube. Well, I'm gonna take that back. I believe I found 2 of them, 2 of the 3. One of them I found on this, and I'm sorry I can't remember the name right now, but it was a website devoted to a short every day.
Oh, that's cool.
Not necessarily horror short, but I went and just looked at their horror section, and that's how I found this other one.
And Vimeo's another one, because sometimes I think David Sandberg, from Lights Out, I think his shorts he has a collection of shorts that are all on his Vimeo page. So that's another way to look at it. A director's like short films he may have just put on a page like that. So that's another good source. If you're looking for, I mean, Shudder has a lot of great shorts. And actually, I want to say even Amazon Prime, if you Google short films, I think I saw a bunch show up on that. They were 20 minutes long, 50. I don't know if you count 50 minutes as a short, but it's definitely not feature length. So I don't know how you count that. And there was some for, I think, 25 minutes, so 5 minutes here and there. So, yeah, obviously you can get a lot of shorts that way.
Yeah, I had a few on here that were really standouts. Like, one I watched was A Dark Song, which is on Netflix.
I want to see that. I saw something else on that today.
Oh, man, that one's phenomenal. I really, really like that one. Again, slow burn, but I like slow burns when they're done well. And this one's done really, really, really well. Very, very creepy. And another one I watched just a couple days ago was Charles or Chaw.
Chaw. That's one of those box art ones, isn't it?
Yes, it's either Chaw or Charles, but it's a Korean film about a man-eating boar, and it's hilarious. It's sort of a dark comedy, but it's got all these weird, kooky characters in it, and it's really, really entertaining. Another one that maybe, the one we're doing today, Raw, actually I saw as part of the challenge. So I've seen a good mix this year, and I can't really say that any of them that I haven't enjoyed on some level.
Yeah,
so that's
yeah, I would say the same. I mean, one of the standouts for me was that, which one I know you wanted to see, was the that Edgar Allan Poe animated anthology.
Yeah, I watched that one.
Yeah, that one is fantastic. The animation on that is absolutely incredible.
You have to go see that one if you haven't.
It sets the mood of the tale. And the animation is almost like picked perfectly for the 5 tales. So each tale has its own type of animation, and it's amazing. I actually want to rewatch it one time on my actual TV. I was watching it on an iPad, but I can imagine seeing that in a darkened room with a nice, digital presentation. It's got to look fantastic. That was really well done. But it's funny, you watched a man-eating boar. I watched a show. It was a man-watching boar, which was what I was, I think, on one of these that I picked. But like you said, I did enjoy everything on some level, but there's one I watched, actually, and it was the latest one, which was Horror House, Gates of Hell. Or, no, sorry, House of Horrors, Gates of Hell. And it was funny. I picked it as my haunt because it looked good until I realized I'm like, oh, God, I don't want this as my haunt one. And thank God it starred a character named Tim. So I got to switch categories, and I can watch a new haunted one about a haunt or theme park. But yeah, it was just, I don't know, the dialogue was a bit, it was just, like I said, it takes me a lot to truly hate a film. So I didn't hate it. It had a lot of problems, and I probably would not, I can't see myself watching this one again, unless, I was where I wanted to show people some funny parts, but, yeah, it was like one of those ones, it kind of seemed like a really elongated, student film that was done, well done student film.
Yeah,
but
that's kind of how the one I saw, Heidi.
Oh, yeah.
Which was like the My Evil Doll pick was one called Heidi, and it's just a straight found footage killer doll movie, but you could tell it was kind of low budget. I mean, it was done well for what it was. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but again, you could tell it was kind of had kind of that student film vibe to it.
Yeah, and then one of those other ones I watched was it was Among Friends. It was actually directed. This one was I got technically this could have been under a few categories, but one of the ones it was directed by our one of our favorites here on Civil Gore, Danielle Harris. It featured Kane Hodder as the limo driver. So there's an icon and an icon role and an icon directing. So So
That's a
that's
twofer.
like a twofer. And actually, there's a funny cameo featuring which I won't give away if you guys choose to watch this one. Danielle Harris does actually a really funny cameo of kind of like a Hitchcock, how he used to put himself there. But she has some lines in it, and it's a little extended cameo, but it's pretty funny based on her career. So I think you guys will enjoy that when you see that. But that's another one that was just some of the movie itself had potential. It was kind of reminiscent of that Would You Rather movie. It reminded me of that, but a little bit different, but it kind of reminded me of that, but a lot of the acting was just so bad. And so if you can get past that and can deal with some really bad acting, and obviously we're horror fans, so we kind of have that in our blood. Yeah, though. But some of it, there was one actually standout that I thought that one of the main girls was actually, I thought, pretty good. At first I didn't think so, because she had some like silent shots that where she had this weird face, and I was like, oh god, this is terrible. But when she actually acted in it, she was actually really good, and I could tell that like it was directed well. So props to Danielle Harris on that one. So that was pretty funny, and I think it's funny that she got to she escaped at some point for a while, escaped Michael Myers, and then got to direct Kane Hodder. So that's kind of funny. She got to direct Jason. But yeah, so that's I gotta say though, that's why this contest is so fun, because you're getting some dreck in there, but you're also getting some hidden gems and some that are just fun to watch because they're that's so bad they're good kind of a thing. So
it gives you a reason to sit down and watch stuff. Like sometimes I don't have the time or the inclination to sit down and watch something like Chaw or something like that, because there's so many other like big horror films that I need to watch to fill in gaps that I haven't seen, classics. So this kind of gives you a reason to go and pick out some of those kind of obscure titles you might not otherwise see.
Yeah, or like those perfect ones, like Tim and I like our box art. Like that one Patchwork has been that I used for my my horror comedy. I've been scrolling past that thing for like the past 3 weeks, I think, easily on my Amazon thing. I'm like, oh, it's horror comedy, watch it, and I loved it. So it's like
you never know.
So yeah.
Well, let's get right into our discmemberment. These are the Blu-ray releases for October 17th. And we have some pretty good ones here.
Our first mistake. Big
What's
mistake.
that?
We didn't leave the space so you could edit in our wonderful sound effect.
Okay. Oh, we'll say that again.
So we're going to go do it again, see?
Yeah.
There, Tim's putting the error in terror right there.
Yeah. So let's get right to our discmemberment.
Wait, no, please, God. No, don't cut off my...
There we go. Okay, that's better.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, Paul did such a great job on that. We can't.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Use the sound
I'm not used to having a sound there.
I know. No, it's it's easy mistake to make, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And we've done it a million times. There's times where, remember, like in the when we first got the first chop sound effect, after every time you did it, I would go,
yeah,
and make the sound effect myself.
Yeah. Well, I screwed up this past episode. Any of you that downloaded like super early when it first released probably saw this, but I had accidentally left the dismemberment sound at the beginning, so it was playing over Tom's intro.
Oh no!
Disclaimer.
Sorry, Tom.
So it was a big, and I didn't notice it because I actually had corrected the mistake before I published the episode, or I thought I had, but apparently our provider didn't actually do a replace of the master file.
Libsyn.
Yeah, so when I downloaded it the next morning, just because I usually download it just to kind of run through the first few minutes or whatever, and I saw that, I was like, I was freaking out.
Oh no! Well, but, hopefully you guys you can re-download it if you want, free of charge.
Free of charge. We won't charge you a dime. Actually, it increases our downloads if you can download it.
Oh,
again.
It does. Yeah. So I think we also put maybe another thing in there that you might want to hear.
Okay, so anyway, where were we? Dismemberment. The first one's a doozy. Now, this one is a re-release of a set that has been out. I think it was first released in 2012, and I didn't pick it up then. I really, really want this set really bad.
I do too.
This is
even though I have a bunch of these.
I don't have any of these on Blu-ray. Not a single one. This is the Alfred Hitchcock Ultimate Collection. It includes 15 Hitchcock films, 15 hours of bonus footage. If you look at the rundown, if you go to Amazon, you can see the rundown of extras on each disc, and almost all of them have at least some worthwhile extras on them. Obviously, the big ones like Psycho and The Birds have the bulk of the extras.
Yeah.
But any of these are fantastic films. It includes Saboteur, Shadow of a Doubt, Rope, Rear Window, The Trouble with Harry, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Vertigo, North by Northwest, Psycho, The Birds, Marnie, Torn Curtain, Topaz, Frenzy, and Family Plot.
Every time you say Marnie, I know this is so random, but see, this is one of the things you get with a Raw episode, that in Arnold Schwarzenegger and Twins, when he's singing and she startles him and he goes, Marnie! So I don't know. That has nothing to do with anything.
I should have said it that way.
I know, you're Marnie. Okay.
Yeah, so if you're a Hitchcock fan, man, this one's, oh gosh, I really want this. I'm going to have to ask, this is going to put on my Santa Claus list.
Yeah. If you want, even, I'll make sure Julie keeps texting Olivia, like little hints, so it subliminally sneaks into her psyche.
It's right now, I think it's like 70-some bucks on Amazon. I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping it's not one of those. It's like 150 by the time Christmas rolls around. But I don't think so.
Well, in fact, you may get a chance at Best Buy. Keep an eye on Best Buy. Usually, at some point, around Black Friday, between Black Friday and the first 2 weeks into December, sometimes they have those crazy box set deals where they and check, and also keep an eye on Amazon's deal of the day. This one is primed, no pun intended, for that.
I believe it was the deal of the day. I believe it was the deal of the day at one point, because I saw one of the Shockwaves people posted. I think it was like $55. I should have picked it up then.
Oh, wow, that's a steal. But it could come back. The Twilight Zone always does that, and same with the I Love Lucy set. I see that repeated about 6 times throughout the year. So there's a good chance it'll come back. So keep an eye on it, especially around the holidays.
Yeah, well, I'll keep on the lookout for it. If any of you faithful listeners out there see it on sale, ping me or shoot us a Twitter or something.
Let Tim know if he misses another box set. He's on a good box set run.
Yeah.
He got the Phantasm. He didn't miss that. He didn't miss Chucky. Come on, help a Tim out.
Oh, the next one up is our good friend Bill Zabub.
Yeah. Creator of Dick Shark.
Creator of Dick Shark. Comes Frankenshark, which is relatively tame for him.
Yeah, apparently. Sounds like a film.
This is one I actually went to look for it on IMDb and couldn't even find it. So that was interesting. A renegade scientist experiments in the forbidden realm of genetics. Is genetics forbidden?
I know. Where's this realm?
And discovers the horrifying secrets of life. Oh my gosh.
Now wait, is this Bill Zebub?
This is Bill
discovering the horrible secrets of his life, or is it the guy?
I don't know. His disregard for ethics results in a tortured new species of fish, similar to a shark, attacking prey in a horrible manner. And
this could be literally the same description, probably, for Dick Shark.
Probably.
If you think about it.
But this was 2017, so this is post Dick Shark.
Yeah, post Dick Shark. Wow.
Just kind of he's going more mainstream.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of scary when you think someone's mainstream with Frankenshark.
I think the cover, if I'm not mistaken, had a nude woman on it though. So
he's staying true to his roots at some level.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
way to go, Bill Zebub. we gotta meet him one day.
Well, his thing was at the Mad Monster party I went to.
Oh, right. That's
right.
Yeah,
he was there. I think he was there.
And he might have been there at my thing. I don't know who I grabbed the Dick Shark card from when I was there. I didn't really care.
Because I think they had a Dick Shark model.
We've said it so many
This
times.
is a record for the number of times we've said Dick Shark on this show.
Yeah, really.
I think they had a Dick Shark model when I was there. I didn't take a picture of it.
Yeah, I think they might have had that too when I was there. It's kind of one of those things. Like it's like you kind of like don't make eye contact anyway. Gladly, quickly pick up your Dick Shark memorabilia and move on. So yeah, it's kind of like one of those. Like I think I pointed it out at Seth, and we laughed, chuckled, and while the people were looking around, I quickly grabbed a little card so I could talk about it on the show.
Yeah.
So yeah. And think about it. All these mentions of Dick Shark will not be edited out. Apparently.
That's right. Apparently not. The next one up is Rawhead Rex from 1986. This is a Kino release, 4K restoration, audio commentaries, interviews. Ireland will never be the same after Rawhead Rex, a particularly nasty demon, is released from his underground prison by an unwitting farmer. The film follows Rex's cross-country rampage while a man struggles to stop it.
So a man.
Well, this is one of those VHS box art ones I used to always see. Oh my gosh, I really want to see this one because it's Clive Barker wrote the screenplay.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
This one's legit. This one's legit.
Yeah. No, it is. I've always. It's one of those same here. I've always wanted to see it after seeing the art all the time for it, and plus now I need, based on this description, I want to find out which man, because it just says a man.
A man.
So,
it could be any man.
So, yeah. So we'll see.
The next one I am dying to see, literally.
Yeah.
This one is Red Christmas, 2017, from Artsploitation Films.
Which is one of the coolest names of the company I've heard.
But it stars our beloved Dee Wallace.
Yes. Which I will see anything that she is in.
That's an automatic
She is a true horror legend, and just legend in any way. And we mentioned, I know we've said this to death, no pun intended. If there is a show that you go to and she is at, make her table a priority. She is one of the truly most genuine, friendly people you will ever possibly meet.
Yes. And she plays a mom in this one, which is awesome because I always say she's like my horror movie mom.
She is. She's the ultimate horror movie mom. She played, think about it, she played Laurie Strode's adoptive mother in the new Halloween, which was definitely one of the major bright spots of that one.
So this one has an audio commentary and interviews as well. And the rundown is: a mother must protect her family on Christmas Day from a demented stranger who is hell-bent on tearing them apart.
Sounds like Dee Wallace is going to kick some butt.
That's what it sounds like to me. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
I hope she's like, say, I've come here to string holly and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum or something, it's like... Or no, that's not as good. No, but I'm coming here to string holly and kick some ass, and I'm all out of holly. That's the one I meant to say. See, there's a problem. If we did a regular edited show, you wouldn't have heard the bad one.
That's right, and you would have said, man, Brian just thinks so quick on his feet. Like
you guys always think we're so on with this humor, but it usually takes like the third or fourth or eighth take, depending on.
Which is really scary, considering the humor you finally get is actually a third or fourth take.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how bad the previous ones were?
Well, now you just heard. I totally botched it up because I wasn't prepped.
Well, this next summary is probably the most epic that we've ever had on the show. I just want to preface this because it was written by the director and screenwriter of the movie Spaceship Terror from 2011. And when I saw this summary on IMDb, I was just in awe of how awesome it is. So I'm going to read it in my best "In a World" voice.
Yeah, there you go. By the way, that's a movie about that. It's called In a World.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I'm not very good at that voice, but I'm gonna wing it here. Okay. This is another one where we take multiple takes if this was not live.
Yeah,
but...
and we both try it. We both keep doing it until one we like better. Yeah, it was a...
Open your mind to a horrifying world of cat and mouse as 5 women and 1 injured man find terror beyond their wildest nightmares. Marooned on a deserted planet and picked up by an old derelict spaceship, 6 unwitting travelers find themselves enslaved in a torture-filled bloodlust that will take you on a white-knuckle ride into hell. Feel the terror and ride along if you dare, as they slowly fall victim to the horrific appetite of a deranged killer sporting an insatiably bloodlust unmatched in an unforgiving universe.
By Harry Chinsky.
By Harry Chinsky.
Yes. Well done.
See,
that was really good.
If this wasn't Raw, we could have added like some dramatic music and orchestra, but
you know what? Maybe what we'll do is maybe down the road as like a bonus, we'll re-edit our Raw episode to tighten up, and you can all download again and pad our numbers.
Call it Civil Gore Cooked.
Yeah. You first saw it raw, now see it cooked.
Oh, and by the
Harry
way,
Chinsky.
Alfred Hitchcock was my pick of the week, since I forgot to
put
that in.
Right.
Another error.
And you know what? As obvious as that would be for me to do the pick of the week, I'm just going to go different. Just go ahead, and I'm going to do Red Christmas because
you're not doing Twin Peaks. No,
and I'll tell you why. Because I expected everyone out there to, even though it's a Criterion collection, sometimes you find better stuff actually on like those box sets, and that big Twin Peaks The Complete Series box set should be purchased anyway, and that includes Firewalk with Me, including all the extra 3 hours of deleted footage. So that's why I didn't pick that.
Okay, well that's good reasoning.
Yeah, no, I do have reasoning behind it. I had a feeling. I was like, well, they're going to expect me to do that too. But I can't. But not that I'm saying, if you, for some reason, just like Firewalk with Me, and that's your prerogative and you want to get it, yes, absolutely, by all means, make sure you buy this, because Criterion does do some good stuff. But I tend to find sometimes Criterion, they're very picky with, their restoration of it. And they kind of do more, kind of like, they try and hand pick their material and their bonus features, whereas the other releases just kind of pack them on, and I'm more of a pack rat anyway, so I kind of like a ton of stuff. So I mean, I do own Criterion collections. The Criterion Fisher King is fantastic, but so anyway, and I know you were all waiting for this, of course, but I'm going to read this. Should I read the description maybe as our favorite man from another place?
Yes, but also I want to just say I think you're being difficult.
Am I? Am I being a pain?
I think you're just being difficult. But anyway, go ahead and read it.
Why? Because of my Criterion?
Yes, your Criterion criticism.
It's nothing against Criterion. I like I said, I do own some Criterion collections.
They don't meet your criteria, apparently.
They don't. No, but because like I said, I like a lot of stuff. I'm sometimes quantity over quality.
I will agree. I think sometimes Criterion is overpriced for what you get.
And that's another thing. They're always like over like $30 usually. I mean, sometimes you can get it for like $29 or on sale for $24. And usually you have to order them online. They're not always at the store. But So don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing Criterion. It's just I rather get I like the whole box set versions.
Okay, yeah. So you have to read this as our favorite.
Okay. Twin Peaks Firewalk with Me. 90 minutes of deleted footage and alternate takes. New interviews. The young FBI agent disappears while investigating a murder miles from Twin Peaks. That may be related to the future murder of Laura Palmer. The last week of the life of Laura Palmer is chronicled. That was a little added thing for the movie.
Oh my god. I was trying to not to laugh into the microphone.
Yeah. And that was raw, people. That was live. Usually I do that in a couple takes.
Now
it's kind of hard to read the whole thing when you're not prepped for it in that voice. But.
Now imagine being at a theme park and he breaks that out in line randomly. You just die.
You gave me a good idea. I should just start doing that to our group during the haunts and stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, especially when you do your arms backwards thing.
Oh yeah. Sometimes my arms bend back. Yeah. I'll have to do a bunch of that.
Oh my god. Anybody who's not seen Twin Peaks has no clue what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But hey, you have the opportunity if you like Criterion to go pick it up.
Okay, so we do have a big theatrical release for October 13th, and that is Happy Death Day, which we talked about.
I wish we could see this together somehow.
Yeah, I know.
This weekend. There's no way to do it. The event is just... Thursday night, we have too many things, including our live recording, so even if there was a preview show, we wouldn't be able to catch it. And Friday night, obviously, we're going to be probably at that park till... I think it closes at maybe 11 that night.
Yeah.
Or 10 or something. But either way, we'll probably, by the time we get out of there and get home, it'll be 11 o'clock, and... Obviously, all the shows will be done. And I actually, in all honesty, I don't know where a movie theater would be in Colonial Williamsburg anytime soon. I don't know if it's one of those hand-churned projectors. You gotta... Anyway, so I don't know. But,
There's a guy. Come see the kaleidoscope.
And, it's like...
You have to look through one of those... You gotta put like a nickel in and look through one of those things. While you crank it.
Yeah, I don't know why we made Colonial Williamsburg the Amish, kind of, but yeah, it's a little bit with the whole churning, but yeah. But maybe there'll be a guy that just sits there, that's a bad road, that'll get judged.
As I knock the mic over and make a loud sound and split everybody's eardrums. So
yeah.
That's jeez. Okay. So I definitely want to go see that one at some point. It looks good.
Yeah, Happy Death Day. That looks awesome. I mean, every I think AMC has the $50 or half off Tuesdays or something. So maybe I'll go check it out when we get back.
That was funny you said $50 because I was just then thinking about 50 Cent.
Oh, really?
That song that's in the trailer was like dun.
Oh yeah. See, that's how in sync that Tim and I are now with this podcast. Yeah.
It's very eerie.
Yeah.
So the movie we're covering tonight is RAW.
Raw. Don't you expect after all of a sudden to like be quiet and then hear and then like Stone Cold is like.
But you say,
tell me, Brian,
now, I'm from
I got a
South.
problem with you people. I'm going to come down there and stomp a mud hole in you.
You know, that's what you expect, but it's not that raw, I promise.
No, how do you say it? Because now I'm from the South, so I say raw.
How do I say it? Raw? Raw?
I don't know, some people say raw.
Raw? I don't
say
know.
raw. I say raw.
I actually didn't even think of it. Now you're going to get me self-conscious. I don't think I'll be able to say the word again.
I'm not self-conscious. That's how you say it in the South. You say raw. You don't say raw.
Raw? Is that how we say it? Raw?
No. I'm not saying you say it wrong. I'm just saying, how do you say it?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think I ever gave it a thought. So I'm wondering how I do say it.
Okay,
here's a new contest. Everyone tweet if I say raw weird.
I don't think you say it weird. Like I don't think you say like rah.
Yeah, rah.
You're not like that bad.
I'm not like Boston.
But you're not rah. But you're not as raw as you're not like y'all.
Yeah,
raw.
Yeah. I think you add more of the raw. But yeah.
But anyway, so and now you get to hear me mispronunciate French names.
Oh, this will be fun. Yeah, well, there's only one that I know that I could probably say that cracks me up, though.
I know which one you are.
You know which one
we're
I'm going to look
juvenile.
at.
We're like 12 years old. Inside.
Yeah.
But it was directed and written by Julia Ducournau.
Which is nice. A female horror director
yes.
that should get a lot of acclaim for this, you know?
Yeah, and you could tell this was directed by a female, and I don't mean that in any way, in any kind of derogatory way.
No, it had
brilliant. But it gives you a perspective, like a female perspective, that I don't think you would have seen a guy delve into.
No, I don't think you would have gotten the emotional impact either.
No, not at all.
So,
starring Garance Menelier.
Yeah, is that her name? Garance. I guess that's an interesting name.
Menelier.
Garance from France.
We just insulted every French person.
Well, you know what? That French podcast insulted our good friends at Costa Radio. So.
Well, I know for a fact we have no French listeners, so we could probably get away
that's true.
with it.
Well, we may have a French listener. They just don't live in France.
That's right.
They may have come here, and now they're going to probably go back. We probably sent them back after this one.
And then this is our immature laughing one. Ella Rumpf.
I don't know why. Is that the sister?
Yeah, that's
got to
the
be the
sister.
sister.
That's the older
right?
sister, Ella Rumpf. And then
she looks like an Ella Rumpf. I don't know.
Yeah. And is that like a heffalump?
Rumpf. Heffalump? Yeah, I don't know.
Ella Rumpf.
Anyone know any facts about Ella Rumpf? Please tweet them our way.
Rabba Nait Ufela.
Wow, that was well done.
Rabba Nait Ufela.
Well done, because I looked quick and I thought it was rabbi, and I'm like, I don't remember this having any kind of Hebrew slant to this, so I didn't.
Are people kosher?
Yeah, these people cannot be. I don't think. This movie, I don't think there's anyone kosher in this film based on what happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even if without, I don't know. Well, now that we spoiled some of the movie. No.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll give you a quick overview. So Justine, who is Garance Menelier, is a young girl starting her veterinary school career, and it's made very evident early in the movie that her family is very staunch vegetarians.
Yes.
And she is attending this school with her older sister, who is, I guess, a year or two ahead of her. And basically, she is subjected to a hazing ritual in which she is forced to eat not forced, but she's strongly encouraged to eat a rabbit liver.
Yeah, by the way, talk about hazing. This movie takes hazing to a new level.
Oh my gosh, I was sitting there thinking, like, what if this had happened to me in college? Like, what would my reaction be?
Oh yeah, I could tell you, I would just whatever. I'd be like, I'm out. Sorry, I don't care. Do what you want to me. I'll see you. See you later.
Yeah. So, and from this encounter, she starts developing this weird craving for meat. And that's basically the movie. So what I found really interesting about this movie, though, is it takes that kind of simple premise and just really develops it through character and through emotion, and you could.
It's a lot of very metaphorical.
Yeah,
a lot of that through this. So.
But it works on a lot of different levels, and it's one of those that I never felt that it moves slow at all. Like, it doesn't feel slow, it doesn't feel boring. Even though it takes its time developing all these characters and all these plot points. Like, I mean, gosh, she probably doesn't even get to the hazing stuff until, a good chunk into the movie, right?
Well, there's that first scene in the beginning. There's pretty early on where they throw them all out of the room.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I guess that part. Yeah, what is that? That might be like 15 minutes in, maybe.
Yeah,
20 minutes. I can't remember now. And in fact, it's in subtitles too, so it's. I don't know. Sometimes that kind of plays with your timing to me.
That's true,
when I'm reading a lot of reading stuff, because sometimes I have to go back because if I maybe I was watching a visual and it was a quick subtitle that I kind of missed, so I'd go back a little bit. So funny thing is, I watched I had to my viewing of this. I started it at my in-laws' house, but I watched the rest of it on the plane. So I can't only imagine what this woman to the right of me, Julie was on my left, the woman to the right of me, if she glanced down, because obviously, as you know, like the last 40 minutes of this thing is where a lot of the gore is. I can't even imagine what she thought I must have been watching. I'm surprised I didn't get like security called on me.
Not to mention all the nudity and boobs and everything else.
Yeah, and there's one pretty graphic sex scene. And I was literally trying to at one point I was like I didn't know if this looked worse or not. I was literally kind of hovering over my iPad and covering it really close to me, like I was cradling it, and I'm like, well, does this make me look weirder that I have to be so obsessed with this movie that I'm in there, or am I just trying to, I was hoping she took it as I'm yeah, I was hoping she thought of it looking at me as I was trying to protect her from having to see it.
No, you're just the creepy guy that hides it under your jacket.
I was one step away from that, trust me, because there's it's so graphic, and not that my iPad is like a giant. It's not the 12 point whatever screen, it's the one below it, but it's still enough you could see it. If she glanced over at the wrong time, I'd probably be be that weird guy in a plane that she tells at parties, and considering I watched 2 consecutive horror movies right after that, and that one Among Friends came on after, and that had a lot of questionable scenes in it as well, in terms that you may not want to watch in public. So yeah, I'm totally creepy guy from now on, in her stories of flights, when everyone tells that, well, I sat next to so and so. Yeah,
There's
that guy.
There's some freak watching this girl eating people.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah. She actually, it was and she was always in blood and having sex and so.
And his wife was sitting right there beside him. I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, it was so funny. Julie was so upset. She was doing some kind of shopping on Amazon, so she was totally oblivious to it all, what was going on. She knew I was watching it, but it was funny. I think she had no clue. But yeah, so there must have been a very unusual scene to witness.
Yeah, well, this movie was very heavily hyped. I remember when it came out, because everybody was talking about how disturbing it was and how gory it was, and 30 people vomited at the premiere and all this kind of stuff. I mean, for me, it wasn't. I've seen far gorier and disturbing movies. In terms of French horror, I mean, have you ever seen Inside or Martyrs or any of those? Are way worse than this.
Yeah, and you know what I think it is too is I mean, at least for me, as I got so caught up and captured into the story and the characters in it, that the gore was actually pretty secondary to me. I mean, it was there. Don't get me wrong; it's there. It's prevalent, but it's the story is so good, and the characters are so good, and the performances are good that I was you just. I mean, it's weird to say this, but I really enjoyed watching it. It's
Well, I would say if you did listen to the hype of this movie and you're a little nervous about watching it because you think it's going to be so, that disturbing or whatever, I would say you're probably overhyping yourself. That you can watch this, and I would encourage you to watch it because it's a really darn good movie.
It is. It is. In fact, probably one of the hidden gems of that year. I mean, I know it got some acclaim, but I think it was a hidden gem for other people. And I think it's a shame that a lot of people will not watch it because of the way it was hyped. Yeah,
it's not that bad. If you're any kind of a seasoned horror fan, you'll have no problem getting through this movie without.
Let's put it this way: I'd say some of the scenes, people loved that movie, 127 Hours with James Franco, and they all roast that at the arm scene. It really is just more of it's that level of gore to me,
or even Gerald's Game.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. Yeah. But anyway. It's basic for anyone listening to this podcast, obviously horror fans, I guarantee you've seen this level or worse. So I would, yeah. And it's funny. That's what my friend Paul said, and you guys both said almost the same thing. I said, because I said, oh, but is this really gory? And you're both like, no, I don't know why it's not that bad. I don't know why everyone was saying.
You know what I think part of it too is it's not a typical horror movie and like over the top slasher and torture and that kind of stuff. It's set up in a much more realistic way. So
right,
it's kind of like a drama overlaid with those elements of horror, which might make it more disturbing because of the contrast. You're not going in kind of expecting the over the top gore and that kind of thing. So maybe that plays into it psychologically a little bit.
Yeah, because if you go into seeing it, like the posters really don't do much justice, and there's really no it's basically no warning in that type of way. So it could just look like a typical art film, and you going into it, and then you may be a little shocked. But maybe I don't know why. Where was it when everyone was doing that? Was it a Cannes Film Festival?
Yeah, one of those.
Was that it? It was one of those festivals. So maybe they just, didn't expect that type of film to be shown there. So they, and when it starts off, it looks like a typical one of those art films. You're
coming
like,
of age.
Yeah, here
dramas,
a young girl out at college for the first time. Like that kind of a thing. But it's got a lot of levels to it, and it really is like I kind of hate the fact that some people are probably going to miss out on it because of what what's in their head about it.
Yeah, and I hate to not discuss it at length but I really don't want to spoil it because it's one you really should watch on your own.
Right, because there are some shock value scenes that that you really pack an emotional punch when you see it, and if us to give it away would kind of stink. So
the plot itself, there's not a whole lot to it. It's mainly played out through just watching this character, which the lead actress is just amazing in this.
Yeah, she's great.
Really
Galance.
Yeah,
she's good.
It's if we're kind of talking in vague generalities, that's the reason why I really don't want to give it away. And it's on Netflix, like I said, so there's no reason for you not to check it out. Now, one of the discussion questions I had on here, Brian, was what's your general take on body horror films and torture porn films? I guess those are two separate subgenres, but body horror is typically anything where you're having some kind of modifications or interactions with the human body that are
like a human centipede type
of thing, for fright effect. Where torture porn, I think, is more kind of goes in the same direction, but that's more like hostile or something where you're actually torturing people or you're actually seeing people in pain, that kind of thing. What's your thought on that in general?
I think I enjoyed the Hostel film, because at that time it wasn't a common genre as it was. But I think it's like anything where people will jump on to something that's hot at the moment and just throw out schlock. And I think if it's done well, and it actually has some substance beyond just the main element to it, then it's fine. Partly it's like I'm not gonna go rush out and see something. Like I'm not gonna say, "Ooh, it's another torture porn film. Let me go see it." This definitely never was that to me.
Right
now, and I guess with the body, I saw the first Human Centipede. It was okay and stuff, and I hadn't seen the other two, but I heard they were just more of the same, and so it's like, you know what? Pretty much, it's like I hope there's not a cop out answer, but I'm fine with it if it's done well. Like this one was done well, that this could fit into several genres, So, as long as it's not like a cheap, gimmicky version of it.
Yeah, I think I'm
if that makes sense,
Yeah, it does. I'm kind of the same way. It's not something I seek out by preference. I vastly prefer more of the sort of supernatural type stuff,
right? Yeah,
or even just the creepy stuff. But I do enjoy them when it's done well, and I think they can be very effective when it's done well. For me, it's one of those things where I can separate the fantasy from the reality enough that a lot of times this stuff doesn't really bother me because I obviously know it's special effects, and
right.
So it's hard for me if somebody's not used to watching stuff like that. I could see where it would trouble them or whatever. But for me, I'm just, when I see stuff like that, I'm kind of looking at it from the standpoint, oh, how did they do that? Or
right.
what did they use to do that versus dwelling on the actual content? So I'm kind of a little bit removed from it.
Yeah, no, I can't. Yeah, it's similar to me too. It's like, but I think it really just like it can't just have that element. It's got to have some more substance for me to really to enjoy a movie like that. Because I just obviously don't just enjoy watching people get tortured.
Right? Yeah. I'm the same way.
But so it's like, but I can appreciate what if the director's trying to make a point with it. Like there's another underlying message there. And that's the way he chooses to do. As long as he does it good and it, and it's done well, I guess. Well,
I mean, I remember when after Hostel came out, and you had all those torture porn clones come out, and most of them not done nearly as well.
Right, and you're always going to compare it to the original.
Yeah.
And wish you were watching the original rather than that one.
Yeah, it was. I went through a phase where I was just watching all of them because trying to recapture that same level of entertainment I got from the first Hostel film, and none of them really measured up. And then you do reach a point where you're going, why am I watching somebody have their arm cut off for 2 hours?
Yeah,
it's just not my thing. So I don't have anything against them per se. And some people are like dead set against that kind of stuff. I think it can be effective in the right circumstance and if it has the right story behind it. But not the thing I would intentionally seek out. In this case, I would say even if you're not a fan of that kind of stuff, I think this one is well done enough that it definitely deserves your attention.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, I know I kind of said this already, and we both kind of. I mean, the performance in this. Okay, there. I guess. Let me try one more time. The performances in this are so good that it rivals. Like some of these other movies, like if you took that out and just had the drama, it would be that good, I think, because, you got to imagine it's like, it's, some might argue that the way this premise goes is a little silly, but it's like they treat it as it's very realistic, which again goes back to Tim's point about maybe why people were like so horrified at it because it was done in such a real fashion. But yeah, I definitely think that like Tim said, even if you're not into that kind of those kind of movies, you should definitely not bypass this one. Give this one a chance because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised on how much you'll enjoy it.
Now, there's one thing that I also realized when I was watching it, and it kind of goes to your point about the realism, is they show some of the stuff that I'm trying to describe this without giving anything away, but they show some of the maybe unglamorous aspects of human life and females in particular, and I think that's kind of stuff that American audiences they wouldn't show. Like there's a scene where they're like doing a bikini wax or something.
Oh my god, yeah,
it was
very close up by the way.
Very close up, and it's very uncomfortable for me as a male to watch this.
Yeah,
but it added to that creep factor and that realism factor. That I think, if this had been an American film, they would have never had that scene in there. Like,
no, and if they did, you would see it from from a weird view of where you can't tell what's going on, kind of a thing.
But I love that honesty in this film, and again, I think it partially also coming from a female director is not afraid to show that aspect of women, real women, not some glamorized Hollywood version of women. So
right, and if you look there. Yeah, and none of the women are like that. I mean, obviously the two lead girls are, they're attractive, but they definitely don't glamorize them in any way.
No.
They're always under some kind of duress. They're never, even when I think they make a comment on it, even when she is like, I think there's a line where she's wearing her sister's, dress or something. She goes, "What'd you lose weight? You don't look as slutty anymore," or something like. She makes like a comment on that, which probably like. I can't speak because we're obviously not women, but you hear how they get objectified like that, and that's probably, again, a female director could put that in there and have it seem real, Yeah,
I mean, I was just thinking if you remade this in America, they would have some, Hollywood starlet would be the lead,
right?
She would never be unglamorous in the movie, and they would cut out all these scenes that made this movie seem so much more real and honest.
Yeah, so. And now that you said that, I would not be shocked within the next few years that someone does come along and makes a schlock down version of this.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway,
I hope they don't.
I hope not. It's really good. Even if you don't typically watch foreign films, man, French horror is really, really. Every French horror film I've seen has been amazing.
Yeah.
They do go to some places just like with this one that American
Yeah.
films just don't go to. But we had a pretty good beer pairing this week.
Yeah, it's actually a whole brewery pairing, basically.
On the nose.
Yeah, it's called the Raw Brewing Company. Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of did this one quick. I probably could have. I mean, yes, name-wise, it's perfect. But I may have found a more of like thematic one. But so the one I picked specifically out of there is an Edge Pale Ale. And based on what we're kind of just talking about, I mean, a lot of the women in this, as unglamorous they are, like most of the characters, they're kind of pale and washed out looking anyway. So I figured that would work. And
sounds good.
And Edge Pale Ale because you're kind of at the edge of your seat.
There you go.
So brought it back. But yeah, so Raw Brewing, and they actually have a lot of beers out of this place. I mean, I probably think it would be difficult for us here in the States to find this unless you have a place that really does good importing. But they seem to have a lot of choices, so I just never decided to look for this. For all I know, I could be walking past it, so keep an eye out for it, though.
Yeah. And our trivia question this week, which is not on our rundown, but I'm just making it up at the top of my head. But
there you go.
How
many times did we say Dick Shark? No, just kidding. Okay.
The lead actress in this movie became turned off of a particular food item after making this film and swore it off forever. What was that food item that this film basically making this film turned her off of this food forever?
Ah, that's a good one,
That's
actually.
Pretty good one, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is good. I like it.
Yeah. And so that's kind of interesting. So yeah, a little bit shorter episode this week, but there's only so much that you can take of us rambling along with no editing. So
right.
We're doing you a favor.
Yeah, plus this week is hectic. It's a short week for us since we're traveling, and I'm tired coming back. And plus, the day we're recording this, the new trailer for The Last Jedi will drop in just probably within a few hours from now, and that means tickets go on sale right after it. So that means I'm gonna have a very busy night on the computer later. I will probably have really sore fingers and mouse wrist, I guess, or carpal tunnel or something by trying to access, because I don't know, every year so far they've done this with the Star Wars tickets. Something always does. Either the sites crash or the tickets don't update, and I'm buying tickets at theaters, then I go return them because I find them at another theater better. And so that's my exciting night I had. But I just had one pumpkin that I had down, so I'm ready.
Yeah, I had my first pumpkin of the season last weekend. So
nice. Oh, and you enjoyed. And real quick before we sign off, I'll just get Tim. I gave Tim my. Not that it's my recipe. I say it's mine because I'm the only one that I know makes it. But Tim now is in the realm of the pumpkin chip cookies.
Oh my! No, pumpkin chip molasses cookies.
Molasses cookies, right?
God.
Pumpkin chip molasses cookies. Yeah,
these things
they're not the easiest thing to make because there's a lot of steps. But
yeah, but
it's worth
go
it.
get the Nestle Toll House pumpkin chips, and the recipe is on the bag, and they are insanely good. I mean, like I'm gonna literally gain like 10 pounds.
Yeah,
from these cookies.
It's kind of like the not that I would know firsthand, but what I can imagine addicted to crack would be because it's like you cannot.
Because here's
stop.
the secret: it's not just the pumpkin chips. They have you put real pumpkin in the cookies.
Yes, real pumpkin and molasses.
Oh my god!
That was the first time I ever had to actually go purchase molasses, and I wasn't sure where to find it. I didn't know if I had to go out and I think I got it confused with sap. Like I thought I had to like stick a.
Did you think you had to go to like the general store?
I did. I'd have to drive to the Amish country.
Yeah,
I didn't know I could get molasses to get, but I found it actually at Target. And Trader Joe's had it once too. I think the Target one was Brer Rabbit molasses. But yeah.
I'd like 1 barrel of molasses. That'll be cash on the barrel head.
Yeah, and make it snappy because I got 38 cookies to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The recipe makes I think like 36 to 38 cookies or something.
Well,
so
we made 36 cookies, and I've eaten like 34 of them.
Wow. Well, and I am making them for the meetup, remember? So I'm going to make a nice batch for us. So maybe I probably should offer them to our guests of the show that night first before Tim gets his hands on them.
Yeah, you don't want me on near those things. I literally made myself sick off of them the other night.
It's addicting. It's like literally you could be completely full, but like your arm just involuntarily keeps reaching for these things if they're anywhere
they're
near
devil.
you. Yeah,
They're the devil of cookies.
They are, but make them anyway because they're good. In fact, I'm like thinking about them now, but thank God I have my wonderful mother-in-law's pumpkin bread we brought home, which actually is a story for another time, but it caused a whole to-do at the airport. But besides that, so anyway, yeah, we'll sign off now because we have things to do tonight, and the next this show will drop on when you get this, it'll be Friday, and that'll be we'll be actually, but keep an eye on basically social media that day because we'll be at that Howl O Scream event we mentioned, and Tim and I hopefully will be posting a ton of videos and fun tweets and stuff throughout the day, and we'll be the morning after we recorded all of our group there at a I say live show, but not really live, but kind of like an impromptu show.
Yeah, so yeah, keep an eye out this entire weekend because you're going to see a ton of stuff from us in terms of the meetup that we're at. So.
Yeah, maybe we'll even do like a walkthrough of the haunt and watch Tim get jump scared.
Yeah, we might even do some. We could even do some like periscoping or some Facebook Live or something like that.
Oh yeah, we'll do all that. Whatever's the best.
Yeah, so keep an eye out.
Pay attention to all of it.
That's right. All right, guys, it's been fun. We'll see you next week.
Take it easy.